morning, good evening, and good afternoon, all of you. Today is Sunday, so Sunday means it's our day, Vijayawada Developer Group Day. Every Sunday, not every Sunday, but occasionally, whenever we are having these sessions, we are taking this opportunity to come with something new. So this time, today we are coming with the marketing cloud concept, as part of the Demystify, which is a product. And today is my favorite session. This is, yeah. So let's.
So this is the agenda, guys. So at 11 a.m. We have started already. It's a welcome keynote, and 11:10 we are going to demystify the marketing cloud from the marketing cloud expert Shibu Abraham. Many marketing cloud aspirants are look after Shibu's experience and look after Shibu's blogs. And we'll have a Q&A session at the end. There will be a closing note at 1:30 p.m. with a fun activity. So here you go. Here we have the marketing cloud expert, Shibu Abraham. He's also a Salesforce marketing champion and he's an application architect. And on a higher note, he is a 16x Salesforce certified as well. And also he leads the Malaysia B2C marketers group. And he's very much active in Twitter as well. You can follow him at the rate of Shibu A in Twitter. And whatsoever doubts or whatsoever things you need help from Shibu, he is more than happy and he's more friendly nature. I know he's very much experienced campaigner in this ecosystem, but the way he speaks to me, I'm just a fresher or I'm very young to him. But the way he speaks with me, the way he comforts with the people, the way he do some fun, it is more than expected. So he's the best person we'll ever meet, guys. So if you had some time to start with him, please do start with him. Follow him at Twitter as well. So, hello Shibu, thanks for accepting our invitation and coming to our community group. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Sesha. Should I
So
go ahead
Shibu,
and share?
yes, the session is all yours, Shibu. Please go ahead.
Okay, just a minute. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Can you hear my screen? Sorry, see my screen actually?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, let me just test the marketing cloud. Can you see the marketing cloud dashboard?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure technical stuff is all clear out before we go in. Okay. All
Much
right, cool.
attention.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I guess that was, thank you for that introduction, Sesha. I think you covered most of what I wanted to tell about myself. Maybe just a little intro about that I probably missed is, I've been with IT for about 21 years now, and most of it with UST Global itself. I'm actually based out of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I've been working with Salesforce projects for about 10 years, mostly with delivery side of it. And then for the last few years, I've been focusing more into the technical side of it as well, because I was very curious. I actually come from a technical background. I've been a developer when I started, so I do definitely enjoy technical stuff. And then, like you said, I was actually lead the B2C marketers group here in Malaysia, earlier as part of the DUG group, and then I had a good interest for marketing cloud over the last 1+ years now. And luckily I was nominated for being a marketing champion this year. So been fortunate for that. And then I hear someone saying something. Any question?
I will take care of it.
Oh, okay. No, sure. Okay. All right. And then I do have a blog site like Tidbits for You, where I try to post whenever possible about a little bit about SFMC and sometimes about Agile as well. I'm also a passionate Agilist. So if you look at my profile, you will see that I actually support Agile quite a lot. So that's been my background for a while. I do Agile coaching for teams as well whenever possible. Okay, I do have an SFMC Trailblazers YouTube channel. So whenever I get some videos that is good, I actually go ahead and upload it. And sometimes whenever possible, I do record and upload sessions as well. Okay. Twitter, Shibuya, like most of you already have that. LinkedIn as well. So feel free to connect with me. I'd be happy to chat with you on anything Salesforce or Agile. Okay, so today I was telling Sergio earlier, so I'll keep it very high level. The marketing cloud is very, very vast. Okay, so we will not be able to go into very high, very detailed about marketing cloud. I'll try to like cover on a high level each of the different products that we have. And from a demo perspective, like I have a demo org. I don't have like data for everything. So probably like whichever I have data, I can show you. And then whichever where there is like the UI is available, I can show you the UI. Some of it is like paid versions, which probably I don't have in my demo org. So I'll probably skip some of those. But happy to like, if you have any specific technical questions, which is like, that probably we cannot cover. If you have anything on that, you can of course reach out to me separately on Twitter or LinkedIn. Like I would be happy to like, try and get the answers for you. Okay. Of course, there are the surprise that Sesha mentioned was like the quiz that we have at the very end. So I have a Kahoot quiz as well on Marketing Cloud. So please do pay attention. You may stand to win a swag from him, like, if you win. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. All right. So we'll start with a little bit about marketing. And meanwhile, like, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and add that to the chat section, and we'll try to answer that towards the end. Okay. Okay. So first, you've come across these two terms like sales and marketing, right? So now, can any of you like tell me like what's the difference between the two? Like just put it in chat. Like I'll just want to chat, or if you want to like unmute yourself and then you want to say as well, that is okay. I don't know if unmute is available, but let's try to like yeah. I see some answers coming in. Awareness about product is marketing. Good. What else? Like these are very common terms. You can just take a small stab at it. Like what is it that your understanding is about? Okay, generating revenue is sales. Okay, due to marketing before sales. Okay, good. Any other answers? Sales focuses on selling, marketing focus on campaigns and converting them to customer. Okay. Represent your product is marketing. Okay. Any other answers? Anything else that you guys want to bring up? Marketing meaning attracting customers and sales means engaging customers. Okay. Marketing means to let customer know about product and successfully lead the sales. Sales about gathering leads and marketing is promoting the product. Okay, good. So I guess most of you have a pretty decent idea about sales and marketing. So I'll just quickly go through like what I have as well. So modern marketing is about understanding your customer needs, right, and identifying the various user personas based on the data that we gather. Like, the data is very important. Like we need to have that upfront before we can market to them, right? And then like some of you said, it's like about creating your brand awareness about your products, your services, and then creating attractive content for customers. Okay, that is also important. It's all about like what you actually display to them, and then engaging your customers through various channels in a personalized manner. The personalization aspect is very, very important in marketing. Okay, and in marketing, your primary goal is to get more people to choose your brand or products or services. Okay, and then once you have qualified leads who are like interested in your products, that's when sales will come in and they will focus on closing the opportunity, right? And sales plays a very crucial role in building trust and rapport with your customers. Okay, so an example would be like if you were like wanting to buy a pair of shoes, okay, and you like the new Adidas ad on TV, so that's marketing, right? You found a TV ad. Or the other one, that is a kind of like offline marketing. If it's an online marketing, you probably might have received an email or an SMS for a new offer on an Adidas shoes, right? Then when you go into a local store, like and you probably have a coupon that you want to go in, and there are multiple stores available, like so which one would you go into? So if you've already visited like shoe stores before, like probably in your area, you probably might have somebody that you prefer, like some salesperson who's actually like very friendly with you. He usually gives you discounts or recommends when new shoes come in, so you prefer them, right? So that's the rapport and the trust that you have with your salespeople as well. So, and for good organizations, like very successful organizations, they are not two you shouldn't be seeing as competing teams. Okay, they actually work hand in hand. So sales cannot be effective unless and until marketing is effective as well. You need to really qualify the leads, and then once they are actually they know, okay, these people have a very good intention for us to sell to them. They have a very high percentage to buy from us because they are actually sold on our product, right? That is when sales comes in. But we've seen often sales organization will go and just try to go to a customer. So if you are a customer, and if you see that somebody from sales is coming to you and asking you about a product, which you have never heard about, okay, it takes like, you'll be taken aback. You'll say, okay, wait, no, I know nothing about this product. I need to take some time. I need to research, and then I will think about it. So you'll walk away from that, right? Instead, if their marketing was so good that you have seen it before, anytime let's say sales rep comes to you, like, yeah, I've already seen this product, right? Okay, yeah. So that's how good marketing should be. Okay. So the next term that we've come across, probably you guys must have come across, as at least when you've actually been into marketing, in Salesforce marketing as well, you've come across a term called B2C and B2B. Okay, so business to consumer and business to business, right? So can you guys tell me what is your understanding of B2C versus B2B? Let me see how many get it right now. I've asked quite a bit of people, but some guy, they just give me the bare definition of it. So I just want to make sure I cover that with you guys today as well. Anybody want to take a stab at what is B2B versus B2C? Suddenly I'll get the answer okay, Pardot is B2B and Marketing Cloud is B2C. So I don't see any answers. Okay, when you reach to an individual, it is B2C, correct? B2C deals with consumers, B2B with organizations. Okay, good. Any other answers? Okay, so in the interest of time, I'll go forward. So the term B2B, as it sounds it is focused more on product, on organizations, whereas B2C is for end consumers, right? But beyond that, B2B primarily relies on lead nurturing and management. Okay, so take the case of an organization like Dell. They sell hardware to a lot of organizations, like laptops, desktops, monitors, and all that, right? In such cases, the deal amount would be very high when compared to a normal end consumer purchase. So if an organization wants, like a company like yours or like mine, let's say I have a company, we want to buy let's say 1,000 laptops for my employees, right? It's not a small decision. Okay, we would need to research on multiple factors and then finalize, and the deal size also is pretty high, right? So the Dell's marketing team would focus on branding their hardware, like their laptops in this case, and they would nurture this lead. Like if they come to know that that I have expressed an interest in buying 1,000 laptops from them, they would work with me and nurture this lead, and then I will work with them to figure out, okay, yeah, what is these, which laptops would you recommend, and those kind of things. So once they feel that okay, I am bought into it, and I have a good interest in buying it, then that's when they will move my name or lead into sales. Okay, so if you're an end consumer, you would just go to Amazon.com, right, or Dell.com, look for a laptop that you like, do some research, and then decide to buy. And it takes lesser time for an end consumer to buy something, as you're the only decision maker, as opposed to a B2B scenario, right? And B2C marketing, we focus on sending out marketing communications across channels, okay, to the consumers who are looking for something very similar to what you may have to offer. Okay, so you wouldn't do lead nurturing or qualification for a customer who's interested in buying a burger from McDonald's, right? But instead, you will actually do SMS or email, them with coupons with special offer that will entice him to come and buy a meal from McDonald's. Okay, so you should understand the difference between the two. And as you have seen from last week's session from Prashant, Pardot has inbuilt lead scoring and grading and then lead nurturing built into it, right? So because of that, it is very useful for B2B marketing, right? And then for Marketing Cloud, it is actually very useful for marketing across different channels. When I say channels, mean you can reach out through email, SMS, mobile, push notifications. You can actually send through your web application, social accounts, all that, right? Okay. Okay, so looking at a few features in in marketing products that marketers usually look for. Okay, so first and foremost, we need to be able to collect information about our customers. Data is the most important point, right? And then we should be able to engage them with multiple channels like email, mobile, web, social, etc. And then marketing automation. This is a very key component, and you probably heard this term quite a lot. Okay, so marketers always look for ways to automate their task as much as possible. Okay, you should be able to segment your data, create customer journeys. What I mean by segmentation is, let's say you have a large amount of data. Okay, and you will probably not send marketing communication to just one in one shot to all of them. You probably want to say, okay, I want to filter out certain criteria of people who I want to market for such and such product. Okay, or I want to send people whose birthday is falling in this week. Okay, so that's not all your customers. So being able to like segment based on some criteria, and then pushing like marketing communication stream. That's your tool should be able to support that. And like I mentioned earlier, like it should have personalization capabilities. Okay, so when you receive a marketing email, you would appreciate it more if it was personalized to you rather than just saying dear customer, right? And last but not the least, like nowadays we talk all about AI, right? So even in marketing, we expect AI to play a very crucial role in helping provide you with insights on various aspects, like so recommendations and when to target specific customers, or what content would be more appealing to a particular customer, etc. Okay. All right, so that was the intro. So now we'll move into the Marketing Cloud overview. Okay, so this diagram basically like gives a very high level overview of like what Marketing Cloud products are there, and they are actually termed into two areas. One is called Studios and one is called Builders. Okay, Studios are mostly like if you think about it, it's most like channel related. Like you can see email, mobile channel, social channel, advertising, and web, right? And then Builders are like for cross channel, so they help across all these other channels. They actually help with some feature that's there. Okay, what you don't see here is like Automation Studio and Contact Builder and all. They actually fall under one of these categories. So when you go into the tool, I'll show you shortly. They are actually like within that. Like Automation Studio comes under the Journey Builder menu. Contact Builder comes under Audience Builder, etc. Okay, so let me quickly show you the. Can you guys see my Marketing Cloud dashboard, by the way? I just switched the screen.
Yes.
Okay, so when I log into Marketing Cloud, this is the dashboard that I see. Okay, and right now it shows me the apps that I have access to. So you can see like I have Email Studio, Mobile Studio, Social, Advertising, Web. These are the builders that I mentioned earlier. So I was telling under the Journey Builder, I have Journey Builder and Automation Studio. The Contact Builder is under Audience Builder, and then Einstein as well. Okay, so there's multiple things that you can actually see, and even App Exchange is available where I can go ahead and if there's any specific App Exchange products that I want to install on Marketing Cloud, I can do that here as well. Okay. Okay, so let me go back to the next slide. Okay, so there are different tenant types, like in Marketing Cloud. So in Salesforce, you have like developer editions, and there are different editions. Besides editions, like inside that you have like you're just a multi-tenant architecture where you have like one org, right? Just a single org. Here, how it works is, if you the most common used tenant type is the Enterprise 2.0. Even on exams and all that, they mostly ask about Enterprise 2.0, and even on the demo orgs that they give to partners, it is an Enterprise 2.0 account. What that actually looks at is like you will have a Marketing Cloud instance at the very top level. It's called the Enterprise account, and then you will have similar orgs just like the parent one. You will have child ones, and they are called business units. So even the enterprise is just like a business unit. So all of them can be considered like business unit, but this is the parent business unit. Okay, and the others are all like child business units. So they are called business units, and then each one has its own ID identifier. Okay, and they are all linked. They are all linked back to the parent one. So let me show you how that looks like. So in my case, like I have UST Global INC as the parent one, and then I have a few others. Like these are all the child business units that I have, and each one is looking just like this one instance. Like if I click on it, it will actually go into that particular instance, and then like I can have users specifically to one business unit only. Okay, if sometimes I might have like people who are power users who are across multiple business units, but it's mostly useful when you want to like segregate like your marketing users across different geographies or departments, etc. Like so each one has their own content, their own assets and email communications, tracking data and all that, right? So they can use it that way, but everything will roll up into one main parent account that we have here, right? Okay, so moving back to this one, the data model. Okay, so what is the data model that we have for Salesforce? How do you store data in Salesforce CRM? I'm just checking if anybody's sleeping. Objects, right? Yeah. So you have objects and fields within that, like so you have your custom fields, custom objects and custom fields that you can have. Sometimes even content, like files and all that, right? So in Marketing Cloud, everything is centered around your customer. or contact. They call it contact. Okay, and they are actually like, you can store profile, your demographic, preferences, information, behavioral, transactional data, everything about the customer you can store in Marketing Cloud. And we use data tables, like, it's like similar to SQL. If you are very familiar with SQL, you can create tables in Marketing Cloud, and they are called data extensions. Okay, so they are very easy to create, same how you create a SQL table, and then they can be used across all the different channels in Marketing Cloud. And you can easily link them also for any relational data purposes. You can actually link them. And there is one additional data storage structure called subscriber list. Okay, and this is only used in Email Studio. It is not as flexible as a data extension, because the fields that you can store inside a subscriber list is specific to the attributes of a subscriber. Okay, so when you have a subscriber for email, like, a person who you can send email communications to, they will be like, storing their information there. It's called preference and profile attributes, which I'll show you shortly. And those are a set number of fields only. So any record that you add to a list will only be pertaining to those fields. Data extension is not like that. You can create your custom fields, whatever fields you want. Like, every data extension can be totally different. So it's very, very flexible. However, every subscriber list has the same data structure. So that now you see why it is not very flexible. Okay. So let me show you an example of a data extension. So I'm inside the Marketing Cloud. So under data extension, I have a data extension that I created for a customer. Okay, so to store some customer information, and you can see here, like, there are different fields that I have defined, like, the customer ID, first name, last name, email ID, gender, date of birth, personal email, and all that. And I can specify the type, data type, and the length, and all that. Okay, so ABC is text, email is like email data type, and date field, and all that. And if I go into the records, I can see all the various records that are there. And it's very flexible that I can actually even go ahead and edit any of the records that I want. Okay. If I want to delete records, I can delete the record. I can export or import data into it. I add a single record as well if required. Okay. So these are very, very flexible for you to like work with, data extensions directly in Marketing Cloud to store data, like, and then work with them. Okay. Okay, moving back. Okay, so the first channel that we will actually look at is Email Studio. It's primarily, like the name suggests, it's used for email marketing. Okay, so this is where you can configure, test, and send out emails to your contacts, and you can send both commercial and transactional emails. So what it means is commercial emails are primarily for marketing purposes. Okay, and the latter is like, used to inform, the transactional emails is used to inform users about a particular transaction that has taken place, like order confirmation or a password reset. Okay, and the commercial emails, when we send to customers, like, we can only send it to people who have opted in to receive communication from you. If you if you don't, if you try to send it to people who have not opted in, it is illegal, and then they can actually, like, mark your spam, and you will get blacklisted. Okay, and such customers or contacts who are actually opting in to receive email communications, they have a specific name, and Marketing Cloud, it's called subscribers. Right? So you have contacts, which I mentioned earlier. So every person that you want to market to is called a contact. But out of those contacts, if there are people who have said, okay, I wish to receive marketing communications, email marketing communications, then they are called subscribers. So it's a unique term that we specifically call for Email Studio. Okay, so we have to adhere to, like, legal laws, like, CAN spam, and, like, few other laws that are available, like CAN spam specifically because it is a US law. And because Salesforce Marketing Cloud is based out of the US, irrespective of which country you belong to, and then you have an account, like, it looks at, because Salesforce, the data center, everything actually resides out of the US, you have to align with the CAN spam law. And that what it means is, like, you need to be able to specify a physical mailing address and an option for the recipient, whoever receives your email, to be able to, like, change their profile and preferences and or unsubscribe. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have noticed, like, many of you have Gmail accounts, right? Go and check your spam email, or, like, any of your emails, like, you might be getting marketing emails from, like, a lot of sources, right? So there is spam triggers, right? So spam, what it does is, like, automatically Gmail and all, they will actually look at, by looking at the headers and, like, the content, automatically the spam triggers will catch them and put them in spam. Right? So when you actually design emails and all that, you have to ensure, like, that your emails are termed good, so that these spam traps will not catch them, so that your subscribers will get the emails. And then you have to ensure that there is an unsubscribe option. If somebody gets an email, if you get a marketing email and you don't want to keep getting emails from them, you have the option to go and say, okay, I don't want to receive any more communications from you. Or you want to say okay, I want to receive the weekly coupons that you send, but I don't want to receive any newsletters that you are sending. So you can specifically say that, okay, which is the communication that you want from a particular organization. Okay. You can also track the email send metrics, like in Email Studio, how many who all did the email that get delivered to, if were there any bounces, how many of them actually opened the email, did they click the email, etc. Okay, so let me now show you how Email Studio looks like. So if I come into Email Studio, you will have a bunch of menus, but I'll just cover the very important ones here. So this is the all subscribers list. Like I said, all the contacts who have actually opted in to receive emails, you will have them under the all subscribers. These are people that you have either sent an email to in the past, or you intend to send to because they have opted in. Okay, so if I want to search for a particular subscriber, I can just go ahead and click on that person and then say by subscriber key. Let's say I choose this person and I say find now. So it will show me the information about that particular subscriber. Okay, and you can see this is a list behind the scene. It's a list so it has only specific fields that you can actually store, and those fields are these attributes. These are the attributes that you can store in the list, because these are the ones that I've configured now. If you want, you can add more fields by going and configuring it. But about this particular person, if I'm bringing in a new subscriber, I need to give the first name, last name, gender, the HTML, email, opt-in, the data as well. Okay. And what I was mentioning earlier is the attributes for that particular subscriber. So these are the different attributes that I've configured now. If I want to create additional ones, I can go ahead and create it. And preferences are more of okay, any Boolean values, anything that you would want to mark as to as part of your preferences. This is what I want. Okay, and by default, when the email goes out, there will be a profile center. So there will be a link at the bottom of your email that goes out from Marketing Cloud. And when they click on that, the user will be shown this particular page, which is your profile center, where they can go and update their contact information and the preferences that you saw. Or they can come and say, okay, I don't want to receive any more emails from you, and they can unsubscribe. Okay, and subscription center is where they can actually go and say, okay, right now I've got let's say it was actually they were actually having all of these clicked. Okay, and then they come back and say, well, I'm not interested in newsletter magazines, but I want to know about events, promotions, and vouchers, and then I can click on update. Okay, so those also are possible, and that will automatically update your settings in Email Studio, so that next time when you send out, even if you are on the list for these communications, you will not be sent those emails. Okay, and then when I move to email, so this is the content builder within email. So I'll just show you an example. So this is where I have a folder where I've created few emails, and I have a few assets here. If I go into this particular one that I had created, so this is a sample email. This is my demo, so I probably wouldn't send it out to people directly, but just to show you you can configure the subject line, the pre-header. And you will see certain tags like these. Okay, so these are all custom personalization, like I mentioned earlier. So I'll show you shortly, when I preview it, it will change to the actual name of the customer, that is being sent to. Okay, so I've actually configured this and saying okay, if you actually go ahead and fill your profile, we will give you a 20% coupon next time, when you want to purchase. Okay, so if I want to preview this, so if I want to send this out, because this is an approved email, I can directly go ahead and click send, and then set the settings and send it out. And then if I want to preview how this looks like, I can choose the data extension here. I've already set it up, but I have that customer DE that I showed you earlier, right? So this is the customer DE. So if I come here, you will see automatically that first name, last name got changed. So the first name of that this is the record of, I can see multiple records here in that data extension. So each data extension record, you will see the first name, last name, right? So you will see that automatically reflecting in the subject line and in the body of the email, right? So we have already programmed it. We have custom built it into this, so that whenever the email goes out, it will take if I'm sending it to Alicia Secret, automatically it will be, the email will be replaced. It's just like your merge field that you have in your email templates in Salesforce. It'll automatically replace that. Okay. So it's powerful enough for you to go ahead and do customizations on emails and then personalize it and then send it out. Okay. And this was the last one that I had on, was mentioning earlier, on tracking within emails. You can actually go ahead and track, if I sent an email, how many bounced, how many got delivered, and if they got delivered, how many clicked the email, how many opened the email. All those things you can actually see. Did anybody unsubscribe? All those information you can go and you can drill down into more details as you see. And it is across different. You have Journey Builder Sense, Triggered Sense, Salesforce Sense, and all that. You can see all that data under the tracking section. Okay, I'll not deep dive too much into this because this is actually a big topic as well. But if those of you are actually interested in learning Email Studio, there was a bootcamp that we did a while back. I'll probably try to share that link later. It's also on my YouTube channel. So you can actually go, and we have deep dived into a 9-day session about Email Studio and Email Specialist. So if you're interested, you can definitely look at that as well. Okay. Okay, moving on to Mobile Studio. Mobile Studio, there is actually 3 parts, 3 apps within it. One is Mobile Connect, which is for SMS, Mobile Push for push notifications, and Group Connect for chat. Okay, so Mobile Connect enables you to send and manage any SMS communications with your customer. You have to register this short or long codes for the respective country or region, and then configure the messages that you can send out to your customers. So you probably must have already received some SMS marketing messages. Like sometimes you will see this 5-digit number that it comes from. It's probably not a full mobile number that you have, right? But sometimes you get a full mobile number as well. So it depends on which code that that particular the company has registered and what they're using. So those are short and long codes, and once you have that, you can then go ahead and configure the SMS messages to send out to your subscribers. Okay, Mobile Push is to send app notifications. So you all use smart mobiles today, so you'll be able to install applications, and then sometimes you get notifications about and inbox messages for those mobile devices, right? So one of the cool features that Mobile Push actually helps with is geofencing and beacon services. Okay, so let's say you are out shopping, okay, and then suddenly you have, let's say you have the Baskin Robbins application on your phone as well. Okay, and if you are within 3 kilometers of a particular Baskin Robbins store, suddenly you get a message notification on your mobile app saying if you come in the next 2 hours, you will get 20% discount, or maybe buy one get one free, some offer they have sent it to you. But that is only because you are in that vicinity, right? And if you have this location sharing enabled, and then that Baskin Robbins is using this geofencing technique to actually market these customers within this radius, then you will get that. So that's one way to do it. It doesn't mean that Baskin Robbins has done it. I was just giving a fictitious example. Don't go and install that application tomorrow and say that Shibu mentioned we will get offer because of Baskin Robbins. Okay, so just giving you an example of how you can use geofencing. Okay, and then Group Connect primarily is for chat messaging. It's right now it is only enabled for Line Messenger. I don't know how many of you know it. It's actually more for the Asian market. And what I was told is it's also being available for Facebook Messenger through API, but I haven't had a chance to try any of those yet. So let me show you. And unfortunately, I do not have much experience on Mobile Connect, and so to do Mobile Studio, you need to purchase the code. Okay, so it's a paid feature, and in DemoOps, they don't give that free. So if you go into Mobile Connect, you should be able to go and this is how you actually create it. Once you select your short or long codes, you should be able to go ahead and create different types of messages, either an outbound message, or you can set text response. If a message comes to you, then you respond back to it accordingly, in a series of messages. Or if you want to send opt-in messages, if you want to mobile opt-in or email opt-in, if you send an SMS, if you say, do you want to opt in to receive SMS communications in future, or do you want to receive email communications from in future by sending out an SMS message. Okay, And then the mobile app one, like, so this is the one that I was saying earlier for mobile push. You can send a direct mobile push notification or to their inbox. And then this is the beacon and the geofencing thing I was telling. So geofencing is like, let's say within that particular area, like if you enter or if you're exiting, you can customize for which one do you want that message to be sent. Beacon is some things like, when you have Bluetooth enabled, like, and you have sensors within your shop, like if it's a big shop and if you're moving around, or within a mall, like if you're within that and you have some specific things that you want to send to your device, that's also possible. Okay, all of these actually, like, are more advanced features. There is code and SDKs available that you need to use. I haven't had a chance to use it, but it's actually very, very useful if you have a use case for that. Okay. And then Group Connect, like I said, this is where right now it is only supported for Line. So I just tried it out over here, like, I was just typing it. I don't have it set up. So if you have your account and all that set up, like, and if you install everything, then you should be able to, like, start, marketing it out using your Line account. You will be able to, like, send messages, and this is how the preview looks like. You can even add your own emojis and stickers and all that over here, like how you do with chat messages, right? It's very, very flexible. Okay. Okay, all right. So moving on to the next one, which is Web Studio. So Web Studio, like the name suggests, is the web browser based channel for marketing. Okay, and it's called Cloud Pages. Okay, in Marketing Cloud, where you can create landing pages. You can either use Content Builder or the legacy classic editor. So I'll show you that shortly. Like, the Content Builder is like, when you can actually, like, just place into a layout, like, you can place different components and all that. Okay, and legacy classic editor is like, you do all the editing. You can go and create your own HTML, CSS and all that. Okay. Once you publish the page, you can publicly access this through the internet to the provided URL. So one use case would be like, when, let's say, you want to redirect a user from an email or an SMS notification to a web page, okay, to enter some details. Maybe like, you want them to register for an event, or like we saw earlier, if you want to submit the profile details or preference details, like you cannot do it on the email, right? Email is not dynamic at that point in time. So what I will do is, like, I'll have a button or a link for them to click, and that will redirect them to this web page where they can go ahead and enter all this information. And then you can use, like, predefined content blocks and all that to define your own style for that web page. Okay, the good thing is it is very flexible, so you can actually, like, use programming, like, customizations like AmpScript and SSJS and all that, and is a very powerful ally for your email and mobile communications. Okay, so let me show you this one. So this is Cloud Page. So what I did is, like, remember earlier I was showing you an email, like, where I said, like, if you complete your profile and I click on that link, like, I will get 20% off for my next purchase, right? So if that is the case, I can actually use this web page for that now. So this one I've actually built using the Content Builder. That's why you will see, like, there are different modules here in this. I've actually dragged different, like, all three are HTML. So I can drag an HTML content here and then edit it. So if I click on this, you will see that HTML code is here. So I can go ahead and customize this over here on the left side, and then automatically this will change. Okay, so each one is an HTML. You will see the content on the side that you can change, and you can use different. Like if you want to put an image, you can put an image, etc. Right. So if you want to preview this, if I click on that link because I published it, so this is what that page looks like, right? So in that email, I would actually give this URL. I will embed that in that email button. So when the user actually gets the email, they click on it, they will be redirected to this one. They can fill this information over here and then click submit. And then what this information we can do is we can write code in this page that once you submit this, redirect to another page, or within the same page itself, you can actually have it using AmpScript or SSJS. SSJS is server-side JavaScript. Okay, so using those, you can update the data into a data extension. Okay, and then use it for further information. For in this particular case, if I want to send this 20% coupon, I need to send that person that email for that, right? So I can actually add them to a journey or to an automation, and then say all this data that is coming into the data extension, pull that, put them into a journey, and then send them that coupon email in the next run. Okay, so that you can do it easily using Marketing Cloud. And then this is the other example that I was saying, like, so let's say I want to simply do some coding, and then I want to, like, try out something, and then retrieve some data, and then view it using the preview. Okay, so this is also possible. So I kind of like work on script activities quite a lot. That is a part of Automation Studio, which I will cover shortly. So that uses server-side JavaScript. So if you want to try out AMP or if you want to try out server-side JavaScript and all, and you want to just preview that, like, by pulling in data, you can try that in your cloud pages as well. As you can see, like, you can go ahead and then this is all server-side JavaScript code. And then you can just click on preview and then see, like, if the data is coming back. If there is any errors, you will see. So in this particular case, I've actually done some debugging. I want to, like, try some data out before I put it into a script activity. I can use cloud pages for that also. Okay. All right, let me go back. Social Studio. Okay, so this one is formerly Radiant 6, and now it's part of Marketing Cloud. And you can use this to this channel to monitor your social accounts like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Okay, so users are assigned to, like, specific workspaces within this Social Studio, and then within those you can actually, like, assign specific social accounts that you have access to. Okay, and then you can manage, like, the publishing your post, like, across these different social channels. You can engage with your customers through these social channels and also analyze the data, like, through the posts that engagements that you have done over a period of time. Okay, so let me show you that also through the thing. So you will see, like, this is my Radiant 6. So I have created a workspace for myself, like, this is my workspace, and then you can see here, like, so you'll see 65 new posts came. That means you guys were actually very busy, like, doing things over here. So this is my Twitter account that I've actually, like, configured and under Engage, I've actually kept here. So you can see there is 2 tabs. So the primary one, what I've done is I've actually put my Twitter channel and my YouTube channel. And the third one I have here is, like, I've said, like, show me all social posts that is having certain terms that I've configured for Marketing Cloud, like the @ Marketing Cloud, or if there's any marketing champions, or like something like that, like, see this one. So if any of them are referring that in any of the social channels, I want those to be shown here, right? And then this is, see, you can see, like, as I'm looking at it, new posts are coming in. So I can actually, review that very nicely over here, and then see my YouTube channel is not as fast as, like, Twitter. Not many people are posting. So if there is anything coming here, I can see that as well. Okay. Now there is filters here. If you see on this filter, I'm saying, like I said I wanted to see only the Twitter, Facebook, like, Instagram or YouTube, accounts, right? So what if I want to, like, see any blogs or forum posts and all that? So I've actually kept a separate one for that. You can combine them together, but let's say, like, I want to, like, have different people working on different aspects of, like, the social data that I'm getting it, right? So if I have, like, any blogs or, like, forums and things like that I want to run, not the social channel where I'm seeing certain data, I can get that also here. It takes a little time to load, but yeah, then that comes in, you will see, like, other than Twitter and all that, if there is any links that people are working with, you can check that. Okay, so I'll let it load. Well, let me go back to the other one. So there is publish as well. Like I said, and the one that we saw earlier was engage. To that tab, we actually engage with the various social accounts that we have. Like I showed you earlier, I could see your Twitter post, and I can actually go ahead and like, or reply back to your tweet from that page. Publish is where you can actually go ahead and see, like, everything that you're published to send out. In my particular case, I only have, like, 2 accounts that I've configured, but in large companies and all, you will have multiple accounts that you will be managing. So you can see, like, okay, which accounts are posting what on what day, and if you want to see if it's scheduled, okay, when is it going out, you can see all those details here. Okay, so in this particular case, like, last week on, like, Saturday, I had yesterday I had one of the videos posted for the Marketing Cloud, and then another one was done on the 9th last week. This week nothing has happened yet, so, like, that's why I don't see anything yet. But if I had scheduled something, it would have actually showed up here as well. Okay, and the dashboard you can create, like, I've created, like, in Twitter and for YouTube as well. So this is a sample of my Twitter dashboard, like, that I created under Analyze. So I can see, like, different metrics that that's available based on the time, like, sentiment analysis and all that. So if I wanted to see, like, just for demystify SF products, what is the data, okay, the out of the top words, and what are the top posts that are coming in for that, I can see all that. I can drill down into all this data. Okay, very, very powerful for the people who actually want to, like, use this a lot. Unfortunately, I haven't used this for a long time. So if you have really good data, like, this is very, very useful. Okay, me see if that data came. Okay, here is the one that I was telling you earlier. So the same Marketing Cloud one that I was saying earlier, like instead of showing Twitter and all those, I selected all the other types. Like, I said, like, show me any blogs, videos, forums and all that, where I can actually go and see, like, about AMPscript, Marketing Cloud and all that. So they've actually, picked up other channels, like, these are all web pages or blogs. So it's very, very useful if you're like, tracking something from other sources also. Okay, so let's go back. Advertising Studio. I don't have the demo part of this one, but at least let me try to cover like what it is. So what I understood from this one is like it's primarily used for marketing to some of your customers through ad channels like Google Ads or like Facebook. And one of the use cases where you can use Ad Studio is to re-engage some of your subscribers who haven't been engaging with you, right? So you have their data, so you can actually target them, like, and then if they're coming to like, any of the channels where, like, either where Google Ads or Facebooks are available, then you can actually target them through ads as well. And the other feature that you can use is like, something called lookalike audiences. So what it means is, let's say you have a data set of, like, all your engaging customers who are actually engaging with you quite a lot, right? So and then they would have some profile information in Marketing Cloud, like, okay, these are the types of profile people who actually like your products and they are actually like engaging with you a lot. So using Advertising Studio, if you say find lookalike audiences, they can go and actually search, like, in like, various areas, like, in advertising areas, they can go and find people who are having similar profiles, and then that can actually help bring in, like, more additional audiences that you can target. Okay, so that is also one of the use cases that you can use with Advertising Studio. Okay. Content Builder is like one of the tools that you use, like, like we saw earlier in Email Studio, but it is not just for Email Studio. Okay, this is where it's across channels, anywhere where you can use content, like, that this is the tool where you go to. You can actually, like, have separate teams who are responsible for content creation. Like usually in marketing organizations, you will have a separate team that only does content creation. They don't send out emails or all that. Okay, they specifically work on like templates, the content blocks, branding materials, and they can be used by the specific channel marketers for their communication. Now the advantage of that is, like, your content branding, styling, everything will be very consistent across the channels, and you can avoid rework, right? And you have the option to share this content, across different business units, or if you want to keep it, like, specific to your business unit only because it is like by that particular regional thing, then you can do that as well. Okay, let me show you Content Builder. Okay, so this is the Content Builder. It looks very similar to what you saw in Email Studio, because under Email Studio also there is the Content Builder menu there. The difference between that one and here is when you open an email in Content Builder, you will not be able to send out that email. Okay, all email sends can happen only if you open the email in Email Studio. So don't try to open an email in Content Builder and say, like, no, I'm not able to send out the email. Okay, I've had that mistake happen quite a few times. Okay, so as you can see here, I've actually created some assets under NTO assets folder here. So these are all different content blocks. So what happens is, like, there is template and there are different HTML, like, blocks that I've created. These are all content blocks. So how useful it is like, if I wanted to create an email, okay, let me say, I want to say, okay, I want to use this template. Okay, I'll give it, like, sample NTO test. Okay, I have to give name. And so you see this is the template that they have already created. So the good thing is, like, I cannot go and modify the template, like, because they want me to, like, conform to the standards, like, that I should not be removing the header and the footer, but anything in between, I'm free to, like, go ahead and add it, right? So these are all different content blocks that I have. If I want to just bring in an HTML, I can bring in HTML and then put an HTML code there. Okay, if I want to, like, bring in an image, I can bring in an image. Okay, so that is also possible. I can upload the image, or if I have it within here, I can do that as well. Then if I have predefined content blocks, okay, so for instance, like, if I go here, like, if I want to, like, bring in something like this, okay, image, so this is already predefined. Okay, I can use that. So the good thing about, like I said, when you have teams that are working on content, is they've already predefined and kept it for you. All you need to do is just go ahead, drag and drop things in, right? Very easily, you can go ahead and say, like, okay, so where is that one that I wanted to use? I can just go ahead and pull that information. So let's get to know each other. So earlier you saw in that email, right? Take a minute to fill out your profile. So this is how we did it. We just pulled in the content blocks very fast, and then we were able to go ahead and add that to the email and finalize it. If I have a coupon, then I can pull the coupon as well. Okay, so there's a lot of options for me to just pull in the data here and then finalize it. And then when I click on next, it'll generate the preview and show me that. It's that simple. Okay, it was trying to preview it, so that's why the data, because that's not the data extension we should use. But you get the gist of it, right? So you'll be able to just use Content Builder to go ahead and add any different types of content in it and then customize it. Okay. Okay, so that's on Content Builder. Let me go back. Okay, Contact Builder. This is where we manage contacts in Marketing Cloud. Okay, and this is also a very important module within Marketing Cloud, because like I said, everything is revolving around your contact, right? So you'll be able to see the list of all the contacts by various channels, and then what are their attributes, and if you want to manage update or delete them. You can even create and manage your data using data extension, like I showed you earlier. And then using the contact model, you can use something called attribute groups. So attribute groups is where I'll show you shortly, where you can actually bring in the various data extensions and then link them. So I mentioned earlier, I can bring in contact information, right? And then I also told you about personalization. Now let's say I have a scenario where I want to target people and people who have purchased from me in the last 30 days, and if they bought a specific product, and I want to send them a particular coupon, okay, because they bought a particular product from me in the last 30 days. Now, just by using the contact information alone, I will not be able to do anything with it, right? I need to have relational data, like, okay, what is the order data, what is the order history data, what is the order details of that particular one, what products did people order, and then using that data I can check, okay, which people bought what product ID in the last 30 days, using the data. So all of these data should be linked. Only then can I use that in Marketing Cloud to be able to make the decision and come out with the set of people that I can target for that coupon, right? So all of that you can actually do only in using in Contact Builder. You have to link that. Okay, so let me show you how that works. 1 second. Okay, so here, if I go to Contact Builder, so this is the all contacts list that I was mentioning earlier. So if I wanted to see all the various contacts who have opted in for communication, I can see it by by channel, by email, by mobile connect, various channels. I can see all that. Okay, these are all dummy data, so don't go by this. But let's say if I wanted to select a specific particular contact, and I can see the data about that person. So if I click on email, and if he has a subscriber email, that means he's subscribed to my email channel. Otherwise it will have been empty. Okay, if I go to mobile, if it has a mobile number, that means he subscribed to my SMS channel also, okay, through Mobile Connect. If device ID and line are false or empty, that means they are not subscribed to Mobile Push or Group Connect. Okay, and then if I go to any attributes, I can see the data about those people as well. So if I go down, I'll be able to see the email data, the profile information that I mentioned earlier. You can see line data is empty. The mobile push data also will be empty here, but then Mobile Connect, which is the SMS data, is available here. This is the phone number that we saw earlier, right? So all this information you can see about a particular contact in all contacts. Okay, and then this is where I was telling you earlier. So that is the all contacts, but Data Designer is where there is something called attribute groups. I know it's a little bit advanced topic for you guys, but sometimes when you come across this, you will wonder, okay, we talked about the data, but how do you relate all the data? So like I was mentioning earlier, if I want to show the linkage between your customer data versus order data and product data. So this is very similar. If you are familiar with Schema Builder and all that, this is something very similar to that. Okay, you are telling like you have the contact in the center. The contact model is something where you're saying where all contacts are related. So you have your customer data extension that I showed you earlier. So all customers will link to the contact saying everybody in this table is a contact, okay, using the customer ID. That's how you identify them. They will all have order history, like if they have purchased something from us, and each order that they have placed will have some order details with multiple products and quantities, and then the different products, like what are the products they have, like you want to like get details about that. So only if I link like this over here can I go and like get the data about like show me all the customers who have order date in the last 30 days where the product ID is equal to a particular product code that I give, right? So that is the way that I can do it. If I don't link this, it's going to be difficult for me. And as you can see here, all the data is not stored in one data extension. It's across multiple data extension, right? And the primary data extension that I will be used for communications is this one. So if I only brought in this data, the additional data will not be there. I will not be able to do any personalization, right? So you can always bring in data, but only bring in relevant data that you need for communication. Don't bring in the whole set of like irrelevant data that you don't need. And then once you have done with it, you will delete as well, because it is not to be used like a data warehouse. Okay, so only relevant data we'll bring in for marketing purposes. Okay. All right, let's go back. Analytics Builder is like the name sounds, is primarily for reports. So if you have any like reports like that you want to email, FTP, or download. So for instance, if you want to see the email send details of a particular month, you can use the Analytics Builder as well. Okay. So under Analytics Builder, you will see here reports. You can actually go ahead and see like any of the reports that you ran previously, and if you want to see the particular data, you can click on that and then you can view it. I don't have much data that I've done in the last few months, so it's probably going to be empty, but this is the catalog. You will see by channel, you can actually generate any of these reports and then view the data for that. Okay. Okay, so Automation Studio is one of the very frequently used applications in Marketing Cloud along with Journey Builder. Okay, so it's primarily used for like automating tasks within Marketing Cloud, and there are specific activities that are present in Automation Studio. So you can configure these activities and then use one or more of them in a workflow. And you can either run them once or like multiple times as needed, and you can either schedule it, or you can actually trigger it based on a file dropping into your FTP folder. So in this Marketing Cloud comes with an FTP site, okay, which the admin has access to. So you can have it like configured such that like and if a particular file is being dropped into that particular location that you specify, automatically it can trigger an automation. Okay, so let's take a use case where you have a list of new members who are enrolling in your bank each week. Okay, so let's say you're a bank, okay, and you want to send them a welcome email. Now, assuming this data is in an external system and you want to bring that data into Marketing Cloud, you will have to create a CSV file with that data and encrypt it and push it into your Marketing Cloud FTP every week. Okay, using Automation Studio, you can then use the file transfer activity and then bring that file into your Marketing Cloud, decrypt it, and then using import activity, you can read that data and then update your data extension. And then let's say you want to find out only the people who have like birthdays this week from that data. Then you can further segment it, either using a filter or a SQL query activity. And then you can either use a send email to send emails to those people, or you can inject them into a journey. So it's very, very flexible. You can do a lot of things using Automation Studio. Script activity is where you can actually go ahead and write SSJS script, server-side JavaScript, and you can execute it. So that is very, very powerful, because most of the things that you see on the UI, if there's any limitations, you can definitely do through program as well, right? So if you can, and there is the SSJS script is available, the documentation is available where you can use it and customize it. And as developers, I'm sure you would love to do the coding part of it. So you can write the code and then you can execute that as part of an automation. Okay, so let me show you Automation Studio here in a minute. So this is Automation Studio. I've actually this is one workflow that I had created where I said, okay, schedule it. And then I wanted to do a file transfer from my FTP. I said, there is a products.csv file. I said, unzip that products.zip file. Okay, unzip that for import. And once it is unzipped, it will then import that data into the data extension that I have. Like I have a product data extension, I can import that. And if I run it, like, I can monitor the activities, like, when it ran, like, and what is the, if there was any errors, it'll notify me and all that. Okay. Now activities is what I was mentioning earlier, like, so the send email activity is for you to, like, send emails, import file. So you can go and configure, like, if I want to import product from a products file into the product data extension, I can create that particular activity. And then you can say, like, what is the input file that I'm expecting? Is it going to be a products.csv? And then what is the target data extension that I need to do? I can go ahead, click on this, and then I can configure that, like, all that. I can click on here and then I can configure all that. Okay. Similarly, file transfer. File transfer is primarily to bring in files from external FTP, from your FTP or external FTP into Marketing Cloud, which can then be used by import activities, right? It cannot directly update your Marketing Cloud. So file transfer is very useful. And it also works outbound, meaning, like, let's say you have done a data extract and you want to send it now to your FTP for other systems to, like, take it, then that also is possible. So inbound and outbound both is possible to file transfer. Data extract is like if you want to extract data from a data extension, or if you want to, like, extract some tracking data, also you can use data extract. SQL query, you need to know, like, query how to write SQL properly, and then you can actually go ahead and then write the query, like, to retrieve data from your data extensions, or there is actually tables called data views, which is like inbuilt data views within Marketing Cloud, and then get that data and then update that into a data extension. That is also, like, very, very powerful. Filters are like, if let's say you have a bunch of customer data, let's say you want to, like, filter only the male customers from Texas, because you want to send them like, a special coupon for the male gender on a specific offer in that Texas region, right? So you can do that. You can actually, like, using criteria, you can segment them and then filter that out as a separate one. And the other one that I was mentioning is the script activity. So you can go ahead and, write your script activity here, and then, run that as an automation as well. Okay. So very, very powerful. And then once you have these activities, it's very easy. You just have to go click on new automation. And then you can, like I said earlier, you can either do a schedule, or if you want to, like, do it on a file drop, like when a file drops, I want to trigger that automation. I can then go ahead and say, okay, when a file is dropped, I want to first do a file transfer, and then I want to do an import. After the import happens, let's say I want to run a SQL query on it. And then later after that, if I want to, like, send an email, where is the send email? Okay, send email. I can do that. And then I can go and then each of I have to choose, and then choose the activity that I've configured for that and set it. Once it becomes, you will see all the activities, and you save and then run it. If you want to, like, do it off a file drop or schedule it, you can do that as well. Okay. So that is on Automation Studio. I know, like, I walked through this very fast. Trust me that this is not something that you can cover in, like, in 20 minutes or 1 hour. I've actually given a full series of about 20-25 videos on Automation Studio on the channel. So those of you who are actually interested in learning more into Automation Studio, you can refer to that. Like, each of these activities, what they do, how you can configure. It's very, very powerful. Okay. Okay, let's move to Journey Builder. So Journey Builder is also, like, very widely used, like, for customer journeys. It's like for one-to-one customer engagement, right? So once you have a set of contacts or audience you want to target, you can take them through a series of touch points. Okay, like, depending on how they engage with you on each touch point. So that's where this Journey Builder is very, very effective. So you can bring in contacts from a data extension, your Salesforce CRM, like Sales Cloud, and through Cloud Pages, or even through API. And then you can set the rules of, like, how often a contact can enter a journey, and then track the goals as they go through the journey. Okay, you can have single step and multi-step, like, and then most of the times we use the multi-step journey in Marketing Cloud. You can update, like, the data extensions for which the contact belongs to. But also, if you have, like, a connection with your Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, you can directly update create or update objects in Sales or Service Cloud also from the journey in relation to the contact. Okay, so one use case would be, like, where if you want to, like, send a welcome email, like, when they join your membership or something like that. If you want to put them into a welcome journey, you can do that. Another one will be abandoned cart. So abandoned cart is, like, when a visitor or a customer visits your site, they add a product to the cart and then says, then they, because of some reason, they did not complete the purchase and they log off, okay, because of some destruction might have happened, right? Now you can track this data, like, okay, this particular person has come in and they've actually, like, added something into the cart, but they did not buy it, okay? And then depending upon the purchase amount, let's say, like, if somebody's actually added a pretty decent amount of something, they maybe it was like, $150 worth of stuff, or like $300 worth of stuff, it's a sizable amount. Then if you want to target people like that, you can actually bring that data into Journey Builder, and then have it, like, email sent out to them, like, saying, like, by the way, we noticed that, you had you will have emails configured for that, and then you will send out, we noticed that, you had left this item in your cart, do you wish to purchase it? And sometimes as a bonus, they will actually give you some coupon. Okay, and like, not all sites do it, so don't try and go tomorrow to Flipkart and add things over there and say, okay, let me wait for the coupon to come. So don't do that. But it is known that, certain companies, like, or like marketing companies or e-commerce sites, they will actually like, send you a message, like, saying, like, okay, we noticed that you have actually left something in your cart, do you wish to make a purchase on it? And they might entice you with a particular coupon for that to make your purchase as well. Okay. Okay, so let me quickly show you Journey Builder as well. So this is how a journey looks like. So like you said, like I said earlier, this is how you can actually, like, bring people in, like the entry sources. You can use a data extension. You can bring contacts in through an API, through Cloud Pages, through Salesforce data, etc. So you can actually, once the contact, you can actually go define, like, okay, what is the contact filter criteria for them to come in and push them into this journey. So once it comes in, you can actually configure, various activities in this palette here. Okay. And it says here, what I'm doing is a random split, meaning like, okay, but with everybody coming in, I don't want all of them to go through this path. Only 70% I want them to go through this path. Okay. Remaining 30%, if I want to go through a different path, I can keep them here. So if I have a different email campaign that I want to send them through, I can do that as well. Or if I want all 100 to go through here, that is also possible. I can just remove the random split. Okay. So here what is happening is, like, people who are coming in, like, they will get a welcome email. And then I have the option to go and check, did this person click the email? Like, did they, or they open the email? Did they open the email? So either if it's open, click, or bounced, I can check for one of these conditions using the engagement split. So that's very powerful. Like, if I want to, like, track, like, if I've sent something to somebody, how did they engage with us? Okay. So if they open the email, great. Then I can actually say, did they purchase with us for the last 30 days? Do I want to, like, give them a coupon depending on when they purchase? So that is again a decision split. So if I want to use some data about that contact and figure out, okay, depending on what that data is about that person, and then put them according to that path, that is also possible using decision split. So you can see how flexible it is, like, that you can actually send contacts across multiple paths, like, depending upon how they engage with you and what their data is actually on when the journey is evaluated, right? And then once they're done, they will actually go through all this, and then they will come out towards the end and they will exit. You can even update the data about that particular person's data extension. So let's say this particular customer never opened the email, and they're not, and you send them a reminder email and they're still not opening it up. Then if you want to, like, if let's say this was actually a lead from Salesforce, right? And you are trying to, like, trying to send them to, like, respond to your email. If it is not working, then you can even have a task created in Salesforce for this particular lead, for the particular the service person or salesperson to go and follow up with that lead, etc. You can do that as well. Okay. Okay, so that is on Journey Builder. This is like, like I said, this is just one use case. It is not the entire thing. It's much more to Journey Builder. Like, just like Automation Studio is very, very powerful. So do watch out. Like, there are more videos and like, blogs on Journey Builder and how it's being used. And there are new features that are being released for Journey Builders as well. So those of you who are into marketing and who want to learn more about it, do stay tuned. Like, you'll be able to, like, see some of those content coming up in some of our blog channels and video channels as well. Okay, so let's move. This is Einstein. So like I said, like, there is AI part as well in Marketing Cloud. So this was, like, earlier called Personalization Builder, and it recently changed to Einstein. Okay, and these are, like, very, very fairly new, and most of it actually requires 90 days of data, like, to properly analyze and give you some recommendations, right? So unless you have proper data, like, it's not very useful. Like, but it is very powerful if you are, like, an actual live organization using Marketing Cloud, and if you have good data. So Einstein engagement frequency, this is actually something that will help you determine the optimum number of emails that you can send to a subscriber. So it will show you the subscribers who have received too many emails or too less emails. Okay, so sometimes you might be sending people like a lot of emails, so ideally you shouldn't be doing that, and they will unsubscribe. Sometimes you might not be sending enough emails to people, you might be sending them once, and then after 6 months only you're sending them another email, so they might have forgotten all about you, right? So it will show you which subscribers have received too many or too less emails, and then you can take next steps on that. Engagement scoring is it is actually using machine learning, and it will give you some scores for each subscriber and tell you how likely is this person to engage with you. Will he unsubscribe, or will he be opening or clicking an email? What is the likelihood of that? So that is also very useful. So for you to so if you want to target people who have a high engagement score, you can use this. Okay. Send time optimization, it identifies the best time to send an email or a push message to a customer based on how this person has interacted with you in the past. So sometimes you might see the customer opens emails only on weekday mornings, but not much on weekends, right? So then Einstein will tell you it will automatically use that information, and then where you use this is in Journey. In Journeys you can actually use there's an activity called Einstein send time optimization. If you use that, automatically Einstein will determine when to send the email that follows, that activity, whichever, if you're trying to send an email or a push notification, it will decide when to send that, based on the best time that it determines. Okay. Messaging insights, it's more of an alert mechanism. So if there is any anomaly that Marketing Cloud sees, like Einstein sees in Marketing Cloud, for your Marketing Cloud send or a Journey, it'll monitor your open rate, click rate, and any unsubscribes, and then you will get an alert message at the top of your Marketing Cloud. There is a small icon for Einstein. You will get an alert message there, and then you can go and see and it's mostly if there is a deviation. Let's say there's a high number of unsubscribes happening because recently somebody has sent particular email, and then suddenly a lot of people are unsubscribing. So you want to see what happened, why is it deviating from the normal? You can go and click that and then see if there's any corrective action you need to do. Okay. Copy insights is primarily to analyze your email subject lines that you have used. Okay, and it will use language insights. It's primarily for English. It cannot use it for other languages, and it will show you the top performing subject lines. So see, all these are very important when you send emails. Your subject lines are also very important. The subject line and the pre-header. So it will show you which emails were actually very enticing to customers, and which ones have been opened the most, which ones have the least engagement from subscribers, and all that, right? So copy insights will show you that, so that you can determine, okay, let me use one of the most frequently engaged subject line in my future email campaign. I can do it, or I should not be using this one. If I do this, I don't think people will engage with me, right? So you can take corrective actions on those. Content selection is if you want Einstein to determine which email content generates more customer engagement, right? So you can load the list of assets that you want in email marketing. Then Einstein will track the clicks for various assets in those emails. Okay, and then it will tell you which ones are which assets are being used most, which content actually engages more customers. If there are certain images that you use within emails which is very well received by customers, then you will actually use those kind of assets in future, right? So that also you can track. Then email and web recommendations. So this is something very familiar that you guys are already very familiar with. If you see Amazon and all that, when you buy, or when you're looking at a product, you will see people who bought this product already also bought these products, right? So those are the next recommendations or next best product that that will recommend. So both for email and web you can have it, and then Einstein will generate those recommendations. You can have the code. There's specific code that it generates that you can plug into your email or your website, and then automatically it will pull in the recommendations from Marketing Cloud and show that. Okay, so this is also possible, and unfortunately I don't have data for this, so it's very difficult to see this. There are a few good webinars that have been happened for Einstein, and there's also a few videos on YouTube by Elliot Harper and few others, even from Salesforce also, on Einstein, because this is very fairly new. It's not a widely used topic, so people are slowly getting to learn this. So I would highly encourage you to take a look at some of those videos to learn more about the Einstein part of it if you are interested in that. Okay. Cross cloud integration. So definitely, like many of you are coming from the Salesforce background. So I'm sure, like all of you have questions. Okay, how do I now work from with Salesforce, like Sales Cloud and Service Cloud or Community Cloud with Marketing Cloud, right? So there is this managed package that is provided by Salesforce, which is free. It is called Marketing Cloud Connect. Okay, we can install it on CRM and then configure it to connect, and then using connected app permission sets and appropriate users, you have to set up both Marketing Cloud Connect, and then CRM users can then send emails that you have created in Marketing Cloud, or they can use a you can actually bring the data from like Sales Cloud or Service Cloud into Marketing Cloud as well, like the leads or the contacts. You can bring them in and then put them into a journey to send out emails as well. So both are possible. So earlier you saw in Journey also you were able to send data to Service Cloud or Sales Cloud. You can create objects there, right? So that is only possible because I have Marketing Cloud Connect enabled. Otherwise, it is not possible for you to see that, right? So this is, let me see here. So this is my sandbox that I've actually connected to Marketing Cloud. And in that, there is an app called Marketing Cloud. When I click on it, a page that comes up on my Sales Cloud instance. So for people who are like sales people and they don't want to have access to Marketing Cloud, but they want to send an email, they can go ahead and then they can just use this Marketing Cloud app to they can go and find this email that is configured on the sales on the Marketing Cloud side, and it will search and show you the different emails there. I wonder if I actually timed out. So let me see. So, but primarily, you can once it loads the emails from Marketing Cloud, you should be able to view all the data here. You can choose and then you can send the data out. And then once that send happens, so let's say I sent it to I can create a report in in Sales Cloud with your leads or contacts, and then I can say, okay, let's say I have a report called integration test leads. Okay, so I want to send the email to them from Sales Cloud. So if I want to do that, I can pull the report. I can using this send over here, I can select an email in Marketing Cloud, choose the report in Sales Cloud. Okay, and then I can say choose which email address or send classification I want, and I can send that email out. And then automatically, once that email goes out from Marketing Cloud, it will send back the tracking data. It will tell me okay, by the way, it was the email was sent out to these 3 leads, because only there were 3 people in that report. It was sent to those 3 people, and then it will tell me okay, what is the tracking information about all this. So all this information that you see here, the tracking information, all comes from Marketing Cloud back into Sales Cloud. Okay, so that is the syncing that happens because of your Marketing Cloud Connect. So in this way, sales people or service people, they can actually use Marketing Cloud emails directly from here. They can send out emails to leads or contacts and then Marketing Cloud will send it out and then send the tracking information back here. Okay, the other option is, like I was mentioning earlier, if I go to the data extensions, I was telling you I can bring in contact, lead, campaign member information, right? Like you can see here, I have 27 leads and 18 contacts. So all of these are actually Salesforce data. So if I go into here, I have pulled in certain data, so you will see here, this is all leads. So now I can use these data to actually push them into a particular journey. And then use it send out communications to them. If I want to send them any campaigns, etc., I can do that as well. Okay, so these are all possible only if you have this Marketing Cloud Connect done between the 2 clouds. Okay, I know we are already around time, so I think I've covered most of the things. So something that is useful for you guys. So these are the different career roles in Marketing Cloud that you may come across. I don't know in India how relevant these are, but at least in other countries, then you have the admin role where you have to be an admin, monitor the entire org and be able to set users up, set up features, enable, disable, and all that. It's very, very important. Data analysts are people who actually take care of all the data. Like I was saying earlier, you should be able to manage data, reports, and even SQL. Okay, content creators, like we saw, you would be the primary folks who will actually be creating content. You should be good on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, UI frameworks, etc. Developers, these are some of the people that you will definitely find. I've met a lot of Marketing Cloud developers online as well. So they are actually very good in custom development, especially AMP-script and SSJS and all that. Email channel marketers are people who actually market out. They are the ones who actually configure or manage campaigns, send communications out, and track the data, configure and manage journeys. Consultants and strategists are like people like on the team where they help you design and review the overall strategy. If there's any major large programs or campaigns that need to happen, then they will actually help advise you if you want to set up something new in Marketing Cloud. Okay, so depending upon which role you want to transition to, you probably have to look at it. And for a developer, because some of you are into development as well, some of these are the basic configuration areas. Definitely SQL query is something that you will have to learn SQL quite well, and then you'll be able to use that for segmentation automation studio. And then content development, like I said, you will need HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to an extent. You can do journey builder engagements. But then there is advanced development, like I mentioned, using AMP script, server-side JavaScript. There is APIs as well, so that you can do API programming. So Marketing Cloud gives you REST and SOAP APIs, and you can go and see the documentation, what is available under REST and what is available under SOAP. Not everything is available in both, so you need to check which is available and which one to use. Okay, and then there is custom journey activities as well. So sometimes some activity that you saw that there were multiple activities that I can use in that palette under Journey Builder. So if there is anything that that is not there, you want to you have let's say an external application which you want to call, get some data and bring it back into Journey and all that, you can build that. You can build that integration and then bring that to Journey Builder as well. Okay. Certifications, 4 main certifications that you see here. Email specialist, very common, and it is a prerequisite for consultant and Marketing Cloud developer, and it has been there for a while. So this one is primarily around Email Studio, or you need to know a little bit about Journey Builder and Automation Studio as well, but primarily focuses about email marketing. Okay. Marketing Cloud administrator, you need to know everything about Marketing Cloud on a high level from an administrator perspective. So it's mostly about understanding how to enable features, how does setup work, okay, what are the issues that can happen which you need to solve as an administrator, how do you maintain the system for performance, etc. Okay. Developer, like I said earlier, mostly to do with programming. You need to know the basics that you have in email and the Marketing Cloud areas, but then you will also learn more about APIs, AMP script, and server-side JavaScript in this one. Okay. Consultant is more on the higher level of email and admin. It requires email as your base, so you need to have at least some experience in Marketing Cloud for a while. So then this is more of a strategist kind of role where you have to give consulting experience. You say what is the best practice. If there are multiple scenarios, okay, what is the best way to go, recommended approaches, etc. Okay. And then last but not the least, these are some of the resources that I would share with you guys. There are some good links and areas that you can go to. The channel that I mentioned is SFMC Trailblazers, where I keep posting it. So like I said, there is right now an admin bootcamp, Marketing Cloud admin bootcamp that is going on. So as and when the videos are getting updated, I kind of put it in. So I think we finished 6. There's I think 2 or 3 more sessions remaining that I'll probably upload as and when they get completed over the next couple of weeks. Okay. And then these are all having multiple blogs. You can go and check those out. And then there is technical monthly meeting, or I think right now it's bi-weekly. I think we have meetings on various topics about Marketing Cloud, and SFMC lookup answers, where we have technical experts on specific subjects. Every couple of weeks, there will be a panel, and then you can ask questions and they will help answer that on those topics. It's very, very useful. So watch out in Twitter. These are quite widely published in Twitter and LinkedIn as well. Mostly in Twitter, I usually retweet. So if you are there in Twitter and active in Twitter, you can see the invites for this and you can join them if you want to listen to more about these as well. Okay. Okay. I think that was a long session. Sorry. I didn't expect to take this long. Sesha?
Hey, Shibu, only one word for this session: no stone unturned. So we know you are the Marketing Cloud expert, and you really walk through each and everything aspect of Marketing Cloud. And thank you very much, for this high level.
Sure. Glad to help. Like I said, see, the Marketing Cloud is very, very vast. I cannot cover it, and even I am not an expert in it. I am still learning quite a lot of it. I'm always happy to share as much as I learned, like, as and when I learn something new. See, the thing about it is, like, I come from an IT background, so I am very able to relate to most of you guys. I don't come from a marketing background, right? But I have like a lot of champions who come from the marketing background. So when I talk to them, they tell me the marketing aspect of it and why they have been working on it for the last 6-7 years. Many of the champions are actually have been working it in Exact Target for the last many years. So they have that marketing background experience. We look at it from an IT perspective. We are like, okay, we come from Salesforce. First immediate thing is like, okay, how do we bring this in? How do we segregate this? What coding can we do? These are things we think of, right? So our perspective is very different from how usual marketers think. So you need to get both areas like, well understood when you get into Marketing Cloud.
Yeah, sure. That's really great. I think there are few questions in the chat window, but almost all the questions were answered by our attendees only. I think
Awesome.
lots of great attendees in this chat window. If you want to pick up a few questions, you can.
Sure. Anything specific?
Yeah, I will read out for you if there are any specific, and you can also walk through those questions.
Okay. I'm just scrolling through the chat, so just give me a minute. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody asked Apex customization is available in Marketing Cloud. So like I mentioned, no, Apex is not there in Marketing Cloud. So there is something called AMP and server-side JavaScript. So AMP is very, very easy to learn. It's more of like that there is an AMP-guide available, as well as Salesforce documentation also. A lot of developers that you meet with Marketing Cloud, they know AMP, and you can customize your email and your cloud pages and all using AMP. It's very, very powerful. Server-side JavaScript also equally good, but I haven't seen many people being fans of server-side JavaScript because they like AMP more. So any of the developers that I talk to, they said, I know AMP very well. But I am a bigger fan of SSJS because it's very, very useful. So kind of like I've been posting more about SSJS of late. But yeah, that doesn't mean AMP is bad. Okay, whenever I get a chance, I do work in AMP as well. So I actually posted one of the sessions that I did for one of our B2C groups on AMP recently. So if you guys want to take a look at to learn the basics about AMP, you can look at that. Also, I think Salesforce has published a few videos on AMP 101 as well. So it's pretty useful. Okay. I think many of these have already been answered. Is there any free sandbox? Yes. Okay, this question I get answered quite a lot. Asked quite a lot. So unfortunately, Marketing Cloud does not give you any free editions. Okay, so unlike Pardot, so Pardot has at least a partner, or but at least you can go and register for it even if you are not a partner. You can explore some things in it. Marketing Cloud you cannot. You have to be either a partner or you have to be a customer, to get it. Okay, so my recommendation is find a partner to join, or a company which is a customer, and then join them, or buddy up with somebody who has access to it, and then buy them biryani, and they will teach you over the weekend. Okay, so that is one of the reasons why as marketing champions we are trying to educate people in the community as well. So we asked can we, at least marketing champions, can we get a demo or that we can actually share and bring people in as students and teach them? It was denied, and obviously there is certain reasons for that, because like I said, all of you, the moment you start educating, people will start sending emails out to people. We will get calls from 100 different locations saying, and they will shut Salesforce down. Okay, because these are very highly sensitive. You cannot simply send spam emails and all that. I know we do it for studying, but you have to be very, very careful when you use such tools. So which is why it is not available freely. Okay, so but wherever possible, we try to put in demo videos and sessions so that you guys at least can see it. So later on, when you join an organization and when you're new to it, you can refer to some of these videos and learn quickly.
Yeah, Shibu, I think there is one more question for you.
Yes.
May I know which edition would be preferable for small teams for exploring MC feature, a team of 10 to 20 members?
I haven't checked that. There is actually multiple editions. I need to check because recently they announced different editions. Let me check that and get back, Shisha. Because unlike Pardot, there is few editions in this one. There is the enterprise and corporate ones over there, but there are features that are slightly different from each one. It depends on which features you want. For the demo editions that we have, quite a few of the features are there, but you have to pay for additional features like mobile and all that. So if you're a partner, you get a free org. You don't even have to buy it. But corporate edition onwards, you have to buy it. Okay, and then like enterprise ones and all that, like there is, for each one there is additional features that you get and additional licenses. So here what you get in Marketing Cloud, unlike Salesforce, you get number of business units, that the number of contacts that you can keep in your Marketing Cloud instance, and the number of super messages consumed. So super messages is something like, anytime you send out one email, it's one super message. One email meaning to one customer, it is one email. One super message, right? If you have a cloud page, if somebody comes and views that cloud page, it's one super message. Okay, so let's say you are testing a cloud page online that is published. You click on it 10 times, 10 super messages are gone. So you have to be very careful on that as well. Don't write a script to go and reload the page 1,000 times, 1,000 super messages will go. So I know it's a little weird, so you have to be careful on those kind of things. So so that is how they actually measure. So big organizations, when they actually buy, they will have this quota. You have to work with your AE. They will be able to suggest which is the better option for you based on your needs. It is not just by the addition, it is by the features that you need and the amount of quantity that you need from a super message and contacts perspective.
Yeah, great. Another question: what precautions should we take care when refresh, just like sandbox refreshed in Salesforce?
Okay, there is no sandbox concept for Marketing Cloud. Everything is like production instance. So whatever I showed you right now is actually a production like instance. So if you have a child business unit which you are connected to a sandbox, then whatever is there is you can treat it as like your test environment. Whatever you create there is fine. Okay, but then people there, if you give access to production, they can see production as well. So it depends on that. It's not like exactly like Salesforce where this org or this particular business unit is you can go and refresh and all that. There's nothing like that. It's only production and whatever updates come in from Marketing Cloud gets updated to all your business units. Okay, and you can deploy specifically to a business unit. Let's say and there is an App Exchange package I want to deploy in this particular business unit. I can do it if I have the access to it. I can do it. That is also possible.
Thank you guys, and now we can have this quiz competition from Shibu. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
I am just sharing. Can you see my Kahoot screen?
Yes, Shibu. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
go
sure.
ahead. You guys can go ahead and log in and let me know once you have enough players in so that I can lock and start.
Sure. We can wait for next 2 minutes so that people can join.
And Sesha, I hope you have prizes for the winners, right?
Yeah, we had prizes. So guys,
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
We have planned it.
So before we start this quiz, I just want to announce the winners of our Twitter. So by looking into our Twitter handle, we are getting 2 winners. One is Divya. Congratulations, Divya. And another one is Vaishu. So congratulations, Divya and Vaishu, for being active members in our Twitter. And also those who are winning in this quiz competition, Kahoot quiz competition, the top 3 people will also get some swags from our side. So stay tuned, guys. Join this quiz and be the winners and get the swags. If not, you are winning. It's like a positive and good experience from our community. So experience is must. Yeah, Shiv.
Okay. See 17 folks. How many do we have
Yes.
in the chat?
We had 29. I think we can wait for next
29 we have.
Okay. Okay.
Excluding 3 of us, 26. Yeah.
So guys, join. Suresh, you join Suresh.
Yeah.
So you are one of the Marketing Cloud experts, so you might answer this question. So okay.
So he'll be under a lot of pressure.
Okay, I'm dropping.
Yeah, I put him in the pressure
Yeah.
zone. Yeah. Let's wait for 2 to 3 people and then we can start.
Sure.
So 30 seconds more, guys. Please do join. Okay. let's have a counter. 10, 9, 8, 7,
Anybody still
6,
logging in?
5, 4,
So
3, 2, 1.
we have
Inashi boy.
four more people have to join. 26. 26.
I think
Yeah.
Okay, in the interest
might
of time, I
sleep.
think we'll go ahead. We are pretty over time
Yeah,
right
sure.
now. So yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
okay. All right. First question. Which of these is not a marketing cloud product? Mobile Studio, Web Studio, Content Builder, Automation Builder. Okay. See, 8 of you
Oh,
have got it. It's Automation Builder. So it is not a marketing product. It's actually Automation Studio. Okay.
yes.
All right. So in the lead, we have Krishan Kumar, Hafsha, and Sharanya. Okay. Let's see. Next one. Second question. What are the child level orgs in an Enterprise 2.0 marketing cloud account called? Business org, business units, child orgs. Should be fairly easy.
Yes.
Okay. Many of you have got it correct. It's actually business units. Okay. Going to the next one. Okay. We have change in leaders now. Good. Third question. What do we use to store data in Marketing Cloud? Objects, files, data extensions, collections.
You already mentioned it twice or thrice in the session, so I think it's an easy question. Those who actively listen this session. Yeah.
Surprising. Okay. So yeah, the answer is like data extensions. So objects is for Salesforce. So I think people are still in Salesforce mode. Okay. Okay. Christian
Oh, Christian
is on
Kumar
fire. Oh, okay.
is on
Good.
fire.
All
Hopefully
right.
everything is fine.
Number 4, a person who has opted in to receive email marketing communications is called what? Subscriber, contact, customer, recipient.
I think this is a tricky one.
Good.
Yeah.
So many of you have actually listened. So it is actually subscriber, which
Yeah.
is correct.
I thought people will keep recipient as. Yeah,
Okay.
great.
Good.
Ooh, Christian is in on top. Vishweshwar is coming.
Which of these is not part of Mobile Studio? Group Connect, Group Chat, Mobile Connect, Mobile Push.
Within first 5 seconds, most of our audience are doing that.
Okay.
Oh, it
So
is group chat.
yeah, Group Chat is not in Mobile Studio. Group Connect, and Mobile Push is there. So, okay. Cool.
Okay, Vaishya and Vigneshwaran are coming to talk.
Which marketing cloud product uses landing pages? Email Studio, Automation Studio, Web Studio, Advertising Studio.
Pretty easy one. Shibu, there will be punishment those who answer wrong.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but at least majority got it correct. It is Web Studio.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So,
Oh, still Christian Kumar is on top. Srinivas Reddy is coming.
7th question. In Social Studio, which feature do you use for interacting with a social account? Analyze, publish, source group, engage. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Correct answer is engage. All right.
Oh, Christian is on fire for the second time.
8th question. Which feature do you use within Contact Builder to link data extensions to the contact model? Data link, data sources, attribute groups, contact link.
if you listen this session, this is the easiest question for you because Shibu already repeated about it in the session as well. So let's see. Oh,
Yeah, it's slightly harder.
It's-
Yeah, so it's attribute groups where you can actually that big diagram that I showed where all the different groups were, where you can link. So it's under attribute groups. Okay, let's see.
oh, Raghunath Utpal comes to top. Let's see, Shibu.
Okay, two more questions. So ninth one, which marketing cloud product would you use to import data from FTP file into data extension? This should be easy. Automation Studio, Journey Builder, Contact Builder, Content Builder.
Yes, almost all the answers are there.
Still different. Okay, so Automation Studio, the primary one that you will use to do the import from FTP to data extension. Okay.
So these
Change in leaders.
Shivu for the first time change in leader. So this question is a tricky one.
Okay,
Let's
so
see who is going to win.
okay, the last and final question. What is
Buckle up,
the
guys?
what is the tool that helps connect Marketing Cloud to Sales Cloud? CRM Connect, Marketing Cloud Connect, Sales Cloud Connect, Marketing Connector.
Shivu, you should have to put the last question, but it is the most easiest one in this list. Yeah, let's see how our audience will react.
Okay, so Marketing Cloud Connect, correct answer. So let's see the
And
final.
the winners are
Third place, Krishan Kumar.
hey, claps, 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 claps.
Srinivas
Oh, Srinivas
Sasmurthy
Reddy.
second. And your winner is Raghunath.
Wow, surprisingly, Raghunath
Congratulations,
came.
Srinivas.
Claps, claps. And the fourth place goes to Vignesh and fifth place goes to Shweta. So all these three winners are going to get the swags from our Vijayawada DUG. And thank you very much, Shibu, for taking this initiative and giving us this competition. Thank you very much. And do you have any closing lines for us?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you guys. Very lively group. I'm so happy to interact with all of you guys. Stay safe. Do keep learning. Feel free to keep interacting with each other and with me as well if you need any help, any questions. So till next time, I wish you all good luck.
Sure,
Thank
Shibu.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shibu.
Okay, Sesha, I'm
And-
logging off. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Shibu. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I love you loads and thanks for accepting it.
Thank you, guys.
Visiting from Malaysia to Vijayawada.
Always glad to do that. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.